Recording's in progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, for starting the recording. So our today's session is how to register and what might you encounter for our ministry tools. As you might have seen in other videos that we've done, explanations that we've done, either through email, either through Zoom sessions we've done in the past several weeks. Our ministry tools is the internal website to provide leaders like you and me and members with information that is not necessarily needed for the outside public. For that reason, we have created a SharePoint site, so you can put it aside that it's a SharePoint site, where we have put all the information. And this is going to be our communication place with our membership, with our leaders. So it's a work in process. This is just something that is currently started with moving everything that was on our original website to this new environment that is particular for internal use, but it will continue to develop as we grow, and so this is just a starting point. Because it's internal, that's also the reason why it's password protected, because we want to be able to share their things that are internally focused and not necessarily open to the general public, or being can be found like in Google search or other search engines. And that's one of the reasons, and also to protect those nations, as you might be aware of, where we want to share something with a particular, like the US church or so, that we can't put on our general website. So having it behind a username password makes it far more easier to share whatever we need to share with the church, and especially our members and leaders. You'll also find there documentation files that used to be published, but that are no longer being published. For instance, the Administrator's Handbook. That's just because we can rapidly change the documentation. If there's a new policy or there's a change in policy, all of that will be on this new environment called our ministry tools. So how do you get to our ministry tools? On our current new website, so if you go to cfprice.org, as you've all been used to, you'll find at the bottom some quick links, and one of those is also our ministry tools. When you click on that, and I'm not showing it just for sake of time, you'll find two options, either to register, either to log in to it. Okay, actually Jen is sharing it. So here at the bottom, you'll see in the quick links our ministry tools, and when you click on it, you'll see you'll have two options. If you already have a username and password, that's how you can log in. And if you do not yet have a username password, this is what you need to do. And you click there on a request access, and you'll get a form that you need to fill in. So we realize that this is complex, and we realize as we've launched this now for a couple of weeks that people are experiencing, because it's new, it's things you're not familiar with, and it might be frustrating. You want to have it work right away, that it's a bit more cumbersome than you probably expected it to be. So that's why we're having this session today, to help you through and make it hopefully more understandable, and what is all happening there. So as I said, you need to have a login. And for that, you need to have your email, an email you have to use that, and need to have a password. Let me start off. Even staff needs to request access. So we do not provide access automatically to everybody. Even our staff who are listening in, you also need to request access. So because it's all tied to an email address, you can only have one sign-on per email address. I've seen in the past several weeks when I was processing these requests that I saw, for instance, husband and wife trying to use the same username, sorry, the same email address. That's not possible. It's possible if you both have to know the same password, but because it's tied to your email address grants you access to this new environment called our ministry tools. And for that, you need a password. So it takes 4 steps, and that's going to be something new to sign up. And the first step for you is to fill in a form. And what I've seen is you need to fill it in correctly. So please provide your name, first name and last name, and your email address. And it also asks you a question, what type of user or what type of person you are, whether you're a member, you're a leader, or something else. So just fill in that form appropriately, because that helps us. So once you've filled in that form and clicked on submit at the bottom, you'll receive an acknowledgement right away. That's completely fully automated. You should get that with seconds, or say within minutes, depending how soon your email client refreshes. So if you do not receive an acknowledgement, an email that's actually coming from me right away, then there might be 3 things happening. First of all, it might end up in your spam folder. So please check your spam folder to see if that email ended up there. The second reason why you might not have received an email is that when you filled in the form, you didn't type in your email correctly. If that's the case, feel free to submit a new request. We don't know what your email is. The automated email that comes back is then undeliverable. We have no way of contacting you. So the first reason might be it ended up in your spam folder. The second reason is that you provided an incorrect email address. The third reason, and I've seen that several times already, and there's some people have set this up, that they block emails from certain people. So if you've blocked me, if you've blocked seaofchrist.org, those emails don't come through. Or if you've set up your email such that people first have to request access before you receive emails, that's not going to work. So those are the 3 things I've encountered and I've been assessing of reasons why after you submitted the form, you might not have received right away the first email. And this is just the first step. So I'm going to pause, take a breath, and see, Jen, are there any questions at this point that are appropriate to answer?
Yes, someone was saying that they tried to get on ourministrytools.org, but it keeps giving them an error message saying that their email address cannot be found.
We'll get to that later.
But we haven't been able to sign up for an account. They're using a Microsoft email, but they have to go through the sign up form first.
Correct.
Everyone, regardless of what email you have that you want to use, the first step is you have to use the form. And I put the link in the chat. So if you need the link, it is seaofchrist.org/our-ministry-tools, or as Vim said, you can go to seaofchrist.org and use the Our Ministry Tools link on the footer. So that I think is just clarifying. So I'm gonna paraphrase what you said in regular people speak and not IT speak. So step one is go to seaofchrist.org, click Our Ministry Tools link, and use the sign up, the form, request access. That's step one. Step two is you will receive an email, most likely immediately, that will be from Wim van Klinken. And if you don't get that email, there are 3 things that you should do. Check your junk folder. What was the other one?
Email address might be incorrect.
Make sure that your email address was entered correctly. You may have to sign up again if you did not get it, and make sure that you allow email from seaofchrist.org.
Correct.
Pass the test. Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on.
Jen, thank you. So once you get that first email back after you submitted the form, you need to read the terms of use and also accept it in that email. So that email, the only thing you need to do at that point is click on the accept button that you'll find on that email. So the reason we do this is because somebody else might have submitted a form on your bequest while you're not knowledgeable about it. So you get this and say, hey, I didn't do that. So it's also for us to check that the person who actually requested it was also wanting to get access to our new environment, our ministry tools. So again, step 2, you get an email right away after you filled in the form, and you need to read through the terms of use and click on accept. So at that point, we will receive a notification that you have accepted the terms and are really wanting to be on this new site. At that point, that takes some time. Yeah. So the total time it all takes might be up to 2 business days. So don't assume that after you filled in the form, after you clicked on accept in the second step, that everything is set. There's still 2 other things that needs to happen. That's just the way it works. And just for your knowledge, I've handled about 400 or 500 requests in the past couple of weeks. Understand that just takes time.
1 week.
Sorry, in 1 week. Yes,
it's only
in
been
1
1 week.
I just like it's been a crazy week for us. Let me phrase that. Yeah, 400, 500. So that's just a lot of work, and at the moment we get it in. Don't expect us to be able to respond to it right away. So again, I'm reiterating, the first step is to fill in the form. Then you immediately get a email back where you need to read the terms of use and click on accept if you accept the terms of use. At that point, we get immediately a notification that you've accepted and that you really want to be part of our ministry tools. The next step for us is to enter your information into our larger environment. meaning we need to register you as a guest user to our system. At the moment we register you as a guest user to our system, you will get immediately a notification coming from Microsoft on behalf of Community of Christ to log into Microsoft or to sign up with Microsoft. So you will receive an email to log in and or register your email with Microsoft. All of what we use is running on Microsoft. If you already have a Microsoft email account, for instance, a Hotmail email account or live.com email account, or a Business Exchange email account, you can use that, but use the same email address that you used when you filled in on the form. So don't change your email address, because we've set you up with the email address that was in the form. So if your email address has never been registered with Microsoft, you need to register at that point your email address with Microsoft. And you'll need to provide a password at that point. That's going to be your password for the Microsoft environment. And that Microsoft environment might only be for Community of Christ, but you might also have that Microsoft username and password you'll use for something else. So you don't need a Microsoft email address. You can just sign up with your Gmail address, but you need to register, for instance, your Gmail address with Microsoft at that point. Again, I'm going to pause to see if there's any questions.
Yes. If you are a pastor or recorder or CFO, it says do not use that email to log into tools. Is that the Sea of Christ email that's been assigned?
Sorry, yes, I saw that, Walt. That's correct. Do not use the email address that you have been using, for instance, to get access to Shelby. That's a different account, because you do not have even access to its email. So use your personal email address.
Okay. I'm going to stop you for a second while I see if there's any other questions about this part of the process. So I'm going to, again, reiterate in regular people, not tech speak. So after you've accepted the terms of use, that triggers an automatic email to our IT team here at headquarters. At that point, an actual person sits down and gives you access, has to put in your email address and other information to give you access to our Microsoft environment. And that step could take up to, we say, 2 days. After you've been entered into our system by the actual person here at headquarters, then you'll get an email from Microsoft on behalf of Community of Christ. At that point, you can register your email if you have not already registered with Microsoft, or you can accept the invitation.
Correct.
Okay. Now there's a couple of questions here. What if the only email address we have is Sea of Christ? Time out. So that's oh, this is going to be tricky. So this person is someone who's on staff.
Oh, okay. So if it's a staff person, they can, yeah, that works.
If you are an employee, that works. If
Correct.
the email address that you have is because you're using it for Shelby login purposes only, right? That's pastors, CFOs, and recorders. They've been assigned a specific email address based on their congregation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers that question. Let's see. The question, the next one, let's see. How do you register a Gmail account to Microsoft? So those instructions are in the email that you'll receive. And Vim, I don't know, we've done it a couple of times with staff here. As we have registered our personal emails, it's typically a fairly simple process that you have to go through. You may have to verify that. I think the one extra step is you'll have to verify that you actually do own that account. So it may send you another email saying like, is this your account? But just follow the instructions. And Ellie, if you need additional help, email us at communications and we can maybe help walk through that with you. Karen asked a question. I have a Microsoft password to get into Shelby to post offerings. Do I use this password for our ministry tools? So this is what we were just talking about, Karen. If you have that Microsoft password that you use to access Shelby, that is a different environment. So you'll need to register with your personal email and follow the steps through that. So it's not the same. Walt is asking, will both accounts show up when I try to log on?
I do not think so.
Yeah, I think it's just the one that you register for the Microsoft account environment. I'm sorry. Okay, so now we're getting into very specific situations. I'm going to pause on the questions for right now and have you finish up the process, Vim, and then we'll go back to some of these very specific questions, okay?
Okay, thank you. So I've only explained 3 of the 4 steps. So, so there's one more to it. So the first step was you fill in a form. And the second step is you'll get immediately an email with that has the terms of use and where you need to accept it. The third step is that after we've registered you on our entire Microsoft environment, you'll get an email to log in or to register your email address if you do not have an email address that is yet known by Microsoft. At that point, you still do not have access. I see a lot of people that after step 3, they think I have access. No, you do not. We still need then to provide you access to solely our ministry tools. So we first provided you access to the Microsoft environment. The last step that we have to do is provide you access specifically only to our ministry tools. We can't do that right away because I can't, it's too technical, and then I'm IT speech again. So you need to wait until you get another email that says you're completely set up. Yeah? So you'll receive in the end another email coming from infosys@cfprice.org that tells you you're completely set up. At that point, everything should be right. You've gone through the hoops of all the steps of signing up. However, then there's still people who have issues. So before I go to those issues, Jen, any other questions about the steps to register?
I think I'll just clarify that we are recording this so that if there are parts that you missed at the beginning, we will post it so you can watch the whole thing again. Okay, and Linda got her, she is able to access. All right, I'm gonna go back up. It looks like most of the questions now are, well, here's maybe a good one. This is from Charlie. So if I am a pastor, I'm registered in Shelby with my regular email, can I use it again, or do I have to set up a new email to register for our ministry tools?
Sorry, to get access to Shelby, you can't use your personal email. So I'm lost on the question.
Right. So I think and that's a fairly recent shift, like just in the last year, that if you were accessing Shelby previously, you could still use a regular email. But when we had the system issues last February, we had to reset. And yeah, Charlie, do you want to speak to that? You can unmute.
Yeah, I haven't been on Shelby in the last year.
Okay.
Okay, had no need. So I was not really aware. So
Yeah.
the email that I use for everyday email.
Yep.
That more than a year ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I went into Shelby. I can't get to Shelby anymore.
But you can use it for ministry tools.
And I can use it for ministry tools.
Yes, you may.
Your personal
Right.
email.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
Woo.
Easy peasy. Okay, I see your hand up and I see you have a couple questions in here. Do you want to just unmute?
Yeah, thank you for that. I believe the issue for me was when I would click the accept button, I would get a message that didn't take me anywhere. Later, I found an email from Infosys, and it looks like I'm automatically in, but I don't recall filling out, all the information that you said, was required to be filled out. So I think I'm in, but it feels like some steps are missing now. So that's where my confusion lay.
Okay, so when you clicked it accept and you got an error message, but nevertheless got an email from Infosys that everything is okay, that means you can ignore the error message you received, because apparently we received your acknowledgement, acceptance of it.
Okay.
Otherwise, we would never had known to set you up.
Okay, and so the way it looks is so once I'm in, I can go, for instance, to missional leadership, and it gives me the drop down for leading congregations in mission and all of that. That means I'm in this.
Correct.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah. We'll have Jen show when I'm done, well, what you should see.
Okay.
Yeah, what the end results should be.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, but
go
ahead, Jen.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna kind of keep scrolling down through here. Carol's asking a question. We have a church email address. Does this have to be in a person's name? So I assume, Carol, that you have like a congregational, I don't know, like I go to Liberty Street. So it might be like Liberty Street at, Gmail.
No, it might be like something like CFO165a@cfchrist.org.
Yeah, so I guess clarify for me which one it is.
Well, essentially, it's just an email address at the church computer that all of the leaders have access to. And we just use it for church purposes.
Okay, but it's not a cfchrist.org, but a congregational email address.
Correct.
Okay, so that's problematic, because then all of you have the same email address. All of you all should share the same password. It's that I would not recommend doing that.
Okay,
Hey, Jen, it's Walt.
Hi, Walt.
I guess my technical question for Vim was, when you go to log in, it shows an account.
Right. I'm heading there, Walt, in a minute.
Okay, that's why I just want to know if it will show both accounts once you're fully registered.
Okay, yeah, we'll pin that one. I will say, okay, so there was a question about, which like category of person to pick on the form. That actually, those people all get the same access. It's really just for my team to kind of see how many people are registering as like leaders. And I would say if you're a priesthood member, you can register as leader if you'd like to. It really doesn't change any of your access, I guess I'll say that. And I can clarify the language a little bit so that maybe under the leader staff section that we can include priesthood. And if you're in mission center councils or anything like that, I think leader would be appropriate. I'm mostly just curious to kind of see like how people are segmenting or, identifying themselves, to see how many people wanted access that were really just like friends and interested in more about the church versus, leaders. We expect that, leaders will be the ones who primarily want access to the site, but I don't know that for sure. So really that's entirely just for our team's benefit. So no one freak out about that. Let's just pick one and it'll be okay. Let's see. Dorothy Hibbard says she uses her personal email to access Shelby as a congregational reporter. Is that possible anymore?
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
Everybody uses for remote desktop uses a special created cfchrist.org email address.
I'm sorry, but I used it yesterday with my personal email. I've never had a Sea of Christ address, and it works perfect. And I've been a reporter for over 40 years. So I don't know how that happens, but
okay, we need to pin that.
I will.
well,
Let's see.
if I need a Sea of Christ address, how do I do that? I mean, I don't know if I need two different addresses. I guess I'd like to have a Sea of Christ address for Shelby. How do I do that?
Okay, so please send an email to infosys@cfchrist.org and explain your situation.
Okay.
I'll put that in the chat here.
Okay.
That's the email address that you can send to. Okay. I think, how long does it take for the church to set you up in the last step, and who will the last email come from? Okay. So the process of when you accept the conditions, terms and conditions, we're saying that takes approximately 2 business days. So and then the last email will come from Infosys, correct, Vim?
Yes, that's correct.
And that will give you, to say that you have access and provide the link to our ministry tools. Oh, and Becca answered that question already. Good job, Becca.
Okay.
Let's see. I think I've gone through the questions, so I'm going to just scroll through one more time to make sure that I haven't missed anything. If you if somehow I missed your question, please shoot it in there again. But I think I've gotten all of the questions so far. Okay, so now Vim, let's go to, you have gone through the process successfully. You've gotten the email from Infosys that says you have access. Now you click on the link and you go to our ministry tools.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And again, my situation might be different for everybody else, and it also depends on the type of browser you're going to use. Today, we're only going to speak in regards to Edge browser and the Chrome browser, because those we have at hand and those we know. So if you have another browser and experience other issues, please let infosys@cfchrist.org know. But we're going to explain some generic issues that we have heard about. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to explain it in Edge, and Jen is going to explain it later in Chrome. So I'm going to share my screen and you'll see my Edge browser in a minute, less than a minute. Okay. So in my Edge browser, you'll see I'm going to go to cfchrist.org. And to access our ministry tools, as shared previously, go here to the quick links at the bottom, our ministry tools, and click on login. You'll see for me, it starts right away. The reason being that it starts for me right away, because I have in my browser, here you see my avatar, that's what it's called. And for some of you, I have logged into my browser. So that's what I've noticed with some people, that that they have an account attached to their browser that is different than the email address, than the account they have signed up with. So if so, you might want to click on your avatar and just change whom you're signing up with. So, or browse as guest. So you're not using a specific login. So that's what I want to make you aware of, that you might have restored in your browser already an account. You might not be aware of it, but just check that. And that's important. So the way to completely circumvent that is you might start what's called in Edge an in private session. So how that works, I'm just clicking here, for instance, on my icon for Edge on the right hand click, and I'm starting an in private window. At least that's, at that moment, you're starting without the computer knowing anything about you. That's the most secure way of actually browsing. And if I would now go to cfchrist.org, let's see, I might click on here, click on login. You'll see now it asks me to sign in. Yeah, it no longer knows who I am. Yeah, it's no longer stored. So I've just now provided my email address. Next. I provide my password, my Microsoft password that you created. I sign in. If I say don't ask for 60 days, then it's when it stores it. Okay. And actually, I have my two-factor authentication. I need to approve it. So that's what Microsoft does. It wants you to, let's see. I'm approving, I'm using my phone to approve it. So one moment, approve. It's me. I need to even check my fingerprint. Stay signed in, no. You can say yes if it's your private personal computer. And now I'm in at this point. So this is one of the things that I became aware of that you need to be aware of is, yeah, in your account, and this is an in private session. So it doesn't have an account to it. That you might have an account that is that's different than what you signed up with. Jen, you want to share how this works in Chrome?
Sure. Okay, can everybody see my screen okay? So I typically use the Chrome browser, and you can see that I am currently logged in. Let's see, this is maybe easier to see. With my personal email address. So this is tripлекillpack@hotmail.com. And as you can see, like I had to register this email with Google since it's not a Gmail account. And so that I just stay logged into my browser on my personal account. I have also shortcut saved my ministry tools link. So when I click on this, I am not logged in. And it shows me that the last time I logged in to our ministry tools site, it was with my jkillpack@seaofchrist.org email address. So it asked me to put a password here, but I can sign in with another account. So this is where you could potentially pick an account. So I have registered with Microsoft, my seaofchrist.org address, and I also have my tripлекillpack@hotmail.com address. So Walt, I think this might maybe answer your question about if for some reason your like congregational Sea of Christ address is an option, you would not choose that one. You would choose the one that you used to sign up for this environment.
Gotcha.
Is that your question?
Yeah.
Does that
Yes,
answer your
that was
question?
it. Thank
Okay.
you.
So I can show you, like if I sign in with my Sea of Christ account, I have admin, like administrative access with that email address. But if I sign in with my Triple Kill Pack email, oh, well, it says no. Okay. Help. I just used it on
Please write
Friday.
emphasis@seaofchrist.org.
I will, thank you. See, he even makes me do it. Well, I signed in with it the other day. So anyway. I just had to change my password too, so now I have to remember what the new one is. So then once you click and hit accept or sign in, then it drops you here to the home page, and you're going to see some other things here that normally you wouldn't see because I'm in the admin portal. Okay, so that is how it works on Chrome.
So on Chrome, you can also start a, it's not called
it's called incognito.
Incognito, not an in private. That's how it's called in Edge. It's called an incognito session in Chrome. So right click on your.
It's your little three extra dots. You click on that and then hit new incognito window. You've gone incognito. Oh, maybe that's why it wasn't working before, because I wasn't incognito and it didn't recognize it. So same thing that it made Vim do. It's authorizing. Sometimes if you have two-factor authentication turned on, it'll request that you verify your account either via text message or via an email to a different account, and then it will let you in here. Okay. Looking in the chat to see if there were other questions. Yeah, really, I would agree with Becca, Carol. It doesn't really matter what browser you use. The site will work on any of the, any of the popular browsers.
As long as it's a recent version. If don't.
Oh, all right, that is true. So typically, most people are using either Microsoft Edge, Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. Those are the kind of probably top four most popular browsers at this point. And Vim and I just use different ones, so we thought it'd be helpful for you to see just two different versions. Just another question that came to me directly was about the recording of today's session. We will be posting that. We don't, am I still sharing screen? I am. I think what we'll probably do is, this is on the new seaofchrist.org website. We'll probably put a link to this session here on this page somewhere so that people can find it without having to get access to our ministry tools first, because that wouldn't be super helpful. Becca, you and I can talk about exactly where to put that, but this is kind of the general place I think where it will be. And again, you get access here from the footer.
I was just going to say, I think we probably will be able to have that posted on the site in the next day or two. So by Friday for sure.
Okay. I don't know if there's any other questions that you want to put in the chat for us, or, we can even take those live. I think we have a small enough group today. And I would say that I think IT or Infosys, our Infosys team is handling, all of these requests for access. So if you have issues, maybe you could direct those both to Infosys and communications, and we can maybe help with some of the less technical issues on the communication side, and we'll leave the super technical issues for our IT team. But you could maybe email us if you have any questions after today's session. Vim, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, but thank you all. And I hope this was helpful for all of you.
Yeah, it was really good to be with you. We will be posting this, as Becca said, before the end of the week. And we'll try to send out an email to Mission Center leaders, just let them know that when it's posted, so they can share that more broadly in their fields and areas of ministry. Thanks again, everybody. I hope you have a great day.
Can stop recording.